I'm breaking my fast. It's around that time, and I am going to nibble on some carrots, hummus, a boiled egg, and I have some lentil rings in there, lentil onion flavored rings. They're technically vegan. It's flavored. It tastes like it's an onion ring, but it's a lentil ring. It's protein packed, fiber packed. I love my plant-based snacks, y'all. I don't typically do this, so I'm like, I felt the need to have a video to do this, y'all. All right. I'm not going to do that to y'all. This is not a ASMR, okay? I'm not going to do this to y'all. But let me cover this while I go over this topic briefly. Okay. What comes to mind is that people are getting laid off all over the place. All over the place. And folks are still complaining about working. I think that just really baffles me, and I'm trying to understand it, you know, by tapping into different perspectives and different generational perspectives. But I am coming to the same conclusion, which is what I'm about to convey, okay? So, I mean, the layoffs, terminations, or whatnot are coming from everywhere. They're coming from everywhere, okay? And it's hitting multiple generations. Boomer, Generation X, millennials, and Gen Z. Definitely heavily hitting the boomer, Gen X, and millennials. I'm a millennial. Gen Z is falling in there, but it seems like their reasoning seems to fall into the lane of lacking luster and lacking any motivation and being so entitled, this, that, the third, okay? But I think what people don't realize is that the job you don't want, the job you're discrediting or discarding, is a job that someone else wants and that someone else will pick up, and they will accept the pay that you won't accept. Just know that, understand that. That no one's position is that favorable, okay? That it cannot be passed on to someone else who would do the job for less pay. And at the end of the day, that is a corporation's dream, an organization's dream. If they can scale off financially, a financial expense in a sense, with staffing salaries, and still get the performance, oh, they'll take it. And you know the folks who are willing to do that? And you know the folks who are willing to do that? The folks that don't mind getting paid entry level, starting off entry level, or starting off below the level that I guess an average American would start off. This is why I believe immigrants are choice for hiring in many industries. If they can speak adequate English and they can administratively get things done, they are competition. So think about that. They or anyone else, someone young with the mindset of working themselves up from the bottom, that American dream mindset, not coming in asking for 50, 60, 70 plus $1,000 a year. They are quite content working with $40K and build themselves up from there, those are the folks that'll take the jobs. What I think is that this generation, when we're talking about Gen Z, not even talking about the millennials, the boomers, the Xers, because we know about work ethic. We know about true hard work. We know about making the advancement work for you. We know about going after a promotion. We know about starting off from the bottom. See, working in the government doesn't necessarily mean that you are starting off at the top government grade. I really want people to understand that. Often, people who have many years in the government have not started off at that step. They were below her. Even when we talk about federal government, they may have started off at a GS5 or 7 and worked their way up to a GS12. My mom was in that lane, okay? Even with state government, city government, you start off at a certain level unless you come in hired at that level. Most people are not coming in hired at that level. Most of these public sector organizations take pride on fairness and equal employment opportunity. So if you're not hired on that accreditation level for that position, you will be pretty much placed in accordance, but it's going to be on a lower scale, and you're going to have to work yourself up to that scale. See, I've been in the government for years. I didn't start off at what I'm making now. I built myself up. And that's because I needed to acquire a degree before I could get that level of pay that I was looking for. So I was patient. I worked my entry-level position and acquired my degree in the process of it. And then I started advocating for promotions and then took it from there and got to where I'm at. That's not the mindset of this generation. This generation of Gen Zs are completely entitled. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying most. You talking about 45, 50K? They'll look at you with a frown. They're coming in thinking that they're making $80,000 a year plus with just a standard degree and no real practical work experience. That's something that you have to acquire within the organization. You have to get to know your organization. You have to fill it out and learn it and make it become you. Gen Z does not understand, in my opinion, the concept of promotional growth. In most cases, it's not just handed to you, unless you are a firm product of nepotism. Your father or your mother happens to work top tier position in one of the organizations, and hey, we all know how you can be pulled in different places, but in cases that doesn't apply, honey, you are going to have to deliver, and you're going to have to get yourself to that level you're trying to be in, and it takes determination and patience for that too. It wasn't just handed to me. I had to make my way up the ladder. I had to advocate for myself, put in the why I should receive this based on this, that, and the third. Have the performance reviews reflect why I should be getting this, that, and the third. So that has to do with my performance as well. Putting in that time, doing good work. All what I feel that this generation lacks. And I gotta be honest. The stronger generation of workers fall in the baby boomer era, the Gen X era, and a millennial era. And I have to stand true to that because I know the experiences, I know what I observed through my parents, through my grandparents, and I know what I deliver myself, and I see upon my peers who are millennials as well, how hard we work. how humble we can be. Not saying we can't be tired and not want to advocate for others, but at the same time, we know how to zip a lip and get a grip and get this work done and get this paycheck and keep moving for the cause. If your cause is different, you keep working for that cause in the background. See, we not out here just outwardly disrespecting a organization, acting like the organization is worthless to us and it's not needed. When, honey, it is needed. Because you know what you need? You need health care. Are you going to pay health care out your pocket, honey? Or are you going to pay with a low tier insurance company that you got to get through side gigs, DoorDash, etc.? They may offer an option, but you're not getting much covered under that policy and you're still paying into it. When it all boils down, who's paying for your health care? That's one of the most expensive costs you can have. And that's not a cost you want to play with. So we talking about don't want to work? Honey, it's folks just working for health insurance. Period. Y'all better get wise and get a grip. Keep what you have. Be wise. Keep what you have. And keep striving for better or for more on the side. All sectors are being affected. Public, private. It doesn't matter. There are people losing their jobs in all sectors. Yet folks still are complaining about jobs. Yet folks are still complaining about working. Salary does not match the description. Either the salary is too low with high work demands, or the salary is high with performance demands. There's no work-life balance, so you can't call out whenever and still have a job, okay? You can't come in late whenever and still have a job. Hybrid work from home is pretty much hard to find now. It's not really existent in the public sector on that level, case-by-case situations. But it's not free-handed like it was around COVID-19, which is what prompted hybrid work in the first place, due to the safety of others not contracting COVID-19 or not contracting COVID. So now people are returning to the office to be productive in person, and that is causing a lot of frowns. That's causing a lot of frowns. If you don't work, complaints will still continue. Losing your life direction. If you don't have a plan to be an entrepreneur, okay? If there is not a plan in place, you forget that entrepreneurism does not yield immediate dividends. You have to put in work. You have to put in more work in most cases than the employed as an entrepreneur. And you have to wait. You have to wait for the fruits of your labor and hope they grow. You use your own money to invest in your business or businesses. You tap into your own savings. You invest in yourself. Maybe your business does not make it and your efforts go down the drain. That can be a case. Depleted savings, if any. Too much idle time on hands. Potential weight gain from emotional eating, depression. Ageism sets in for those approaching that age bracket. Maybe unmotivating to work again. Disregarded by the competitive market and AI, artificial intelligence. Healthcare coverage issues, paying out of pocket because no longer employed to use an employer's insurance policy, therefore leading to public assistance health care, Medicaid, if eligible, getting stuck in the poverty living mindset and can't get out or don't care or want to get out, maybe fed up at this point. Food stamps, Medicaid, housing, cash assistance, still requiring you to work to qualify and keep. So what this sounds like to me is there are more pros to being employed than unemployed and working for self. However, I'm not saying don't pursue entrepreneurism. I'm not saying that entrepreneurism is an immediate failure and that entrepreneurism cannot be better than being employed by an employer. What I'm saying is, if you understand entrepreneurism and that it takes patience, consistent effort, money lost before gain, ambition/drive to keep going, creativity of some sort, the ability to want to continue learning B2B, business to business systems and services that you'll end up coming encounter with once you become an entrepreneurism. That you will come encounter with once you become an entrepreneur. And you have to have enough savings to stay afloat, whether pass or fail. So if you have enough savings to stay afloat, whether you pass or fail, then go for it. Otherwise, stay employed. I'll see you in the next video.